For today's lesson, we will talk about the strengths and weaknesses of the Filipino character. Question: what are the strengths of the Filipino character? Here are the strengths in the Filipino character. First, pakikipagkapwa-tao. Basic sense of justice and fairness, concern for others, ability to empathize with others. Pakikipagkapwa-tao results in camaraderie and a feeling of closeness to one another. It is the foundation for unity as well as the sense of social justice. Next is family orientation. Source of personal identity, emotional and material and support. One's main commitment and responsibility. Honor and respect given to parents and elders. Care given to the children. The generosity towards kin in need and in great sacrifices one endures for the welfare of the family. Third, joy and humor. Filipinos have a cheerful and fun-loving approach to life and its ups and downs. A sense of humor and a propensity for happiness that contribute not only to the Filipino charm but also to the invisibility of the Filipino spirit. Fourth, flexibility, adaptability, and creativity. Creative, resourceful, quick learners, can improvise and make use of whatever is at hand in order to create and produce. Accepts change, adapts to life in any part of the world, in the ability to make new things out of old scraps. The result is productivity, innovation, entrepreneurship, equanimity, and survival. Fifth, hard work and industry. Filipinos have the capacity for hard work given proper conditions, to raise one's standard of living and to possess the essentials of a decent life for one's family. The result are productivity and entrepreneurship for some and survival despite of poverty for others. Sixth, faith and religiosity. Filipinos' innate religiosity enables us to comprehend and genuinely accept reality in the context of God's will and plan. Tragedy and bad fortune are accepted and some optimism characterizes even the poorest lives. Related to bahala na, which may be considered positively as a reservoir of psychic energy, a psychological prop on which we can lean during hard times. This pampalakas ng loob allows us to act despite uncertainty. Next is still faith and religiosity. Filipinos' faith and daring was manifest at EDSA and other times in our history, seen in the capacity to accept failure and defeat. Filipinos recognize forces external to ourselves as contributing to how events in our lives turn out. The results of the Filipinos' faith are courage, daring, optimism, inner peace, as well as the capacity to genuinely accept tragedy and death. Eighth, ability to survive. Filipinos have an ability to survive. Filipinos make do with what is available in the environment. Basic optimism, flexibility and adaptability, hard work, and a deep faith in God. It is manifested in the millions of Filipinos who bravely live through the harshest economic and social circumstances. You may be curious on what are the weaknesses of the Filipino character. Here are some of the weaknesses in the Filipino character. First, extreme personalism. Filipinos views the world in terms of personal relationships. No separation between an object, task, and emotional involvement. Tend to give personal interpretations to actions. Example, take things personally. Thus, a sincere question may be viewed as a challenge to one's competence, or positive feedback may be interpreted as a sign of special affection. There is in fact some basis for such interpretations, as Filipinos are quite personal in criticism and praise. Second, extreme personalism. Filipinos tend to be uncomfortable with bureaucracy, with rules and regulations, and with standard procedures, and all of which tend to be impersonal. Extreme personalism thus leads to graft and corruption evident in Philippine society. Third, extreme family-centeredness. Excessive concern for the family creates an in-group to which the Filipino is fiercely loyal to the detriment of concern for the larger community or the common good. Excessive concern for family manifests itself in the use of one's office and power as a means of promoting the interest of the family, functionalism, patronage, and political dynasties, and in the protection of erring family members. Family-centeredness results to a lack of concern for the common good and acts as a block to national consciousness. Fourth, lack of discipline. Filipinos are impatient and unable to delay gratification or reward, resulting in the use of shortcuts, in skirting the rules, the palusot syndrome, and in foolhardiness. Guilty of ningas kogon, starting out projects with full vigor and interest which abruptly die down, leaving things unfinished. Lack of discipline often results in inefficient and wasteful work systems, violations of rules leading to more serious transgressions, and a casual work ethic leading to carelessness and lack of follow-through. Fifth, passivity and lack of initiative. Filipinos are generally passive and lacking in initiative. Filipinos tend to be complacent and there rarely is a sense of urgency about any problem. There is high tolerance for inefficiency, poor service, and even violations of one's basic rights. In many ways, it can be said that the Filipino is too patient and long-suffering, or matiising. Too easily resigned to one's fate, Filipinos are thus easily oppressed and exploited. Sixth, colonial mentality. Filipinos have a colonial mentality which is made up of two dimensions. The first is lack of patriotism or an active awareness, appreciation, and love of the Philippines. The second is an actual preference for things foreign. The Filipino colonial mentality is manifested in the alienation of the elite from their roots and from the masses, as well as the basic feeling of national inferiority that makes it difficult for Filipinos to relate as equals to Westerners. Seventh, the Kanya-Kanya syndrome. Filipinos have a selfish, self-serving attitude that generates a feeling of envy and competitiveness toward others, particularly one's peers who seem to have gained some status or prestige. This characteristic is also evident in the lack of a sense of service among people in the government bureaucracy. The Kanya-Kanya syndrome results in the dampening of cooperative and community spirit and in the trampling upon the rights of others. Eighth, lack of self-analysis and self-reflection. We tend to emphasize on form or maporma rather than on substance, to be satisfied with rhetoric or to substitute this for reality. Rhetoric and endless words are very much part of public discourse. The Filipino lack of self-analysis and our emphasis on norms is reinforced by an educational system that is often more form than substance and a legal system that tends to substitute law for reality. There is a tendency in the Filipino to be superficial and even somewhat flighty. In the face of serious problems, both personal and social, there is lack of analysis or reflection.
Thank you for watching. That would be all. Bye-bye.